Truth Is On, Season 6, Episode 10, where we watch Love in Lockdown.
Prisoner of Love.
Okay.
You keep up with a better name for this show. Hell
Kanye
yeah.
did just drop an album, so I get why, Love Lockdown might be on your mind.
Right. Prisoner of Love.
Yeah.
Season 1, Episode 1. I'll just leave it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz.
This is Brian.
Noah Singer.
If this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss it in minute detail, figuring out if it's good or bad. Noah, what show do we watch this week?
This week we watched Prisoner of Love. What it's about? Chelsea Holmes helps people living free lives find love with prisoners behind bars. That is Prisoner of Love on Discovery Plus.
Ooh, buddy, this is a show.
Yeah.
It's a show.
It's a show.
And we watched episode 1. Yeah, there's not much more to describe it. It's people on the outside turn to Chelsea to get match made with people who are in prison. They are incarcerated.
Yeah, and it kind of takes like the 90-day formula where like we're going to be exploring the lives of these 5 individuals throughout the course of this season and see where it goes. It could be positive, it could be negative, it could be wherever.
There's also a little Indian matchmaking in this show too.
That's true.
Like people are shown like profiles, and like they get to pick between them, which we didn't really see too much of that. It's more of this first episode was more of like a existing relationships kind of episode, but we'll get into it. We might as well just go right into this. Well, I think we should go person by person here.
All right.
So let's just talk about Chelsea here. So this is Chelsea's show. This is Chelsea's business.
Yeah.
And Chelsea runs this prison matchmaking business. But she's also in a relationship with somebody named Manuel.
Manuel, yep.
She's 42. He's 39.
Yep.
And Manuel is in prison in Idaho.
I gotta say that this is like good that she's drinking her own Kool-Aid. Like at least like she's not like shying away from it.
But it seems like this was the first time she drank the Kool-Aid.
That's true.
Right?
And Yeah, she drank the Kool-Aid first, and then she's like, I can make a business out of this. Which, bravo for finding that opportunity.
I don't know. I feel like her original business was pen pals. Or
Well,
she there's some sort of pen pal service. I don't know if it's hers or not. But
It
she
is.
took that pen pal service into a matchmaking service.
Yeah, I finally just found her website. It took a little bit. If you guys want to look at it, it's prisonloveandfriendship.com. All one word. prisonloveandfriendship.com.
Do they have an HTTPS cert?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is secure.
It just sounds like it
Yeah.
going to...
And so, yeah, there's several services they provide. So one's pen pals, one is inmate art you could buy, supporting the commissary. So yeah, it does look like it's a full-fledged business that supports different things related to prison.
Okay. So we could take not a step back, but she's in Panama City Beach.
Yeah.
This dude's in Idaho. This dude is in prison for, what did they say he was in prison for?
He was in for grand theft of possession.
Grand theft.
And
He's been...
he was also possession, but like the official charge was like grand theft of possession. And I don't exactly know what that means.
yeah,
Internet corner that for us.
grand theft of prison.
But he during the course of the episode says that he was in prison 2 handfuls. Something that you need more than 5 times, more than 6 times, I guess.
Well, yeah, they said, he was arrested more than 5 times. Unclear if he served prison time for all those 5 to 10 times. But he is familiar with getting arrested.
Yeah. And like, what's going to happen here? Is he moving to Panama City Beach? He also has kids. So away from his kids to be with this matchmaker?
She's got to move.
But she's not going to move to Idaho.
It's unclear if he's a resident of Idaho or he's just incarcerated in Idaho.
Oh, what do you think you're doing to get arrested in Idaho from Panama City Beach?
No, he might not be from Florida, but they never clarified if these people are in state penitentiaries or federal. And so unclear like where he's actually based.
Sure, if Grand Theft whatever, probably if you go state lines, it's federal crime.
So Grand Theft possession, it just means you stole something that's worth more than $500.
Oh.
Which sounds a lot scarier than what I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's probably the fact that he went to jail so many times, been arrested so many times that he's in jail for something like that. Like, I'm sure, like, a first-time offense, as long as it's, like, not excessive. Like,
hopefully. That seems... I mean, that's, like, a whole other issue of, like, why this is a good idea because there's so many people in prison. Like, but, like, yeah, if you're going to prison for stealing something worth $500, like, geez, I hope we don't.
That's also why I was like, I don't really care about, like, the possession charge because, like, that usually... Sometimes that just gets tacked on, unfortunately, and it's not, like, worth it for this criminal justice system.
Right. I mean, it's a whole bag of worms where it's, like, people getting charged with possession, when it's like, really? That's what we're doing our time? But we digress.
I thought there was something drugs with this guy, no?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, drugs and Grand Theft possession.
That's possession, yeah. But yeah, so, Chelsea is finding someone named Manuel, and we see her in the early stages, like, really hitting it off with him and starting to build up some of that relationship early on in the episode.
And then we see her talk to her friend about it.
Jonathan. And her mom.
And the mom, like, a lot of the show, I think 50% of the show is the regular person talking to another regular person about how crazy this is that you're dating somebody in prison.
100%. Like, it is a reaction show. It's almost like Punk'd in that way, where it's all about the reaction of the other people, which are quite good to the producer's credit on this.
And, like, towards the end of the episode, we find out Manuel has been ghosting Chelsea.
Sad.
And in the beginning of the next episode, we find out, well, they cliffhangered it, which is...
Yeah, so this is mild spoiler for episode 2.
Mild spoiler, that somebody catfished Manuel and is getting responses. So Chelsea has been ghosted. Officially been ghosted.
It sucks.
But
Super sucks.
In the next time on, it made it seem like she went to Idaho. No?
She went somewhere. It could have been Idaho. It was cold and snowy, right? So fits the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went somewhere, like, I guess, either to visit for a conjugal...
no. We'll talk about that.
The kanjis, yeah. Or to see him released.
It's like, I feel like this ghosting thing is made up for the show.
Yeah.
But this whole relationship could be made up for the show. So what do I know?
That's true, too. Like, it is very unclear. Like, is Manuel or any of these people actually in jail? like I fully believe she has a service that does this. Yeah. But yeah, there's, as we've seen with a lot of reality shows, like, or like movies based on a true event, once you get past that first truth, who knows?
That first lie.
Yeah, who knows?
I think everyone says where they are, but, like, is Chelsea really in a relationship with Manuel? No. And, like, the fact these people are in prison, like, means, for us as, like, people outside prison, is they've done something wrong. And, that wrongness could be something that would make them very untrustworthy to, like, Manuel's point of, like, ghosting somebody or, like, flirting. Like, what else is he going to do? Just flirt with anyone that comes in. Like, somebody else could come in and steal all the attention.
Yeah, they, on her website, she lists out, like, red lights and green lights of when you're hooking up with different people. So there are different
She's
signs.
using that term very loosely, right?
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Will you list off the red? Does it list it?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Because she also has a shop on the site. I was looking at the shop items. She sells conjugal visit lingerie. And she puts it on this, like, big boobed mannequin. It's pretty funny.
We'll link to the shop.
Yeah. So she does list out. There's about 5 to 10 green flags, 5 5 to 10 red flags, and it's similar to what they talked about in the show, right? So the green flags, like they encourage the other person to live, they're empathetic, they really try to like stay out of trouble. Red flags is like they say I love you too quick. They ask you for money. They don't really acknowledge that other person in any public setting, right? So it's more of like keeping it a one-to-one relationship, and just potentially trying to use them.
But like on that one, how are you gonna know? Because like those things are just like phone calls.
Yeah, there's no further detail there.
Yeah, this is.
Maybe it's like we saw, like, so in the show, there's another person we got to meet, Issa, who gets in a relationship with someone in jail, and the guy in jail introduces his mom to her, right? So that's a good sign.
Yeah, but it's also like that feels a little quick. I don't know. I think that they were only dating for like a few months, right?
Oh yeah, that's we got red flags on the Easter relationship for sure.
Yeah,
There's red and green flags, right? Like red flag, quick; green flag, introduce the mom.
Okay, let's talk about Issa. Let's talk about Issa right now because we got this. I feel like she's the juiciest one here.
The juice.
She's 21. She's dating Devin.
Yep.
And she's in New York City.
Yep.
I forget where Devin is. I don't know if they said.
Unclear.
But his rap sheet: burglary, drug trafficking, firearms in a motor vehicle, failure to comply. He was in jail for 4 years, sentenced to 4 years.
Yep.
And what else did I? Oh, the mom. So they have this phone call with the mom.
Yep.
And the mom is like pretty much dissuading Issa from being in this relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Issa comes off as like a vulnerable child. In here.
She's 21.
She is 21, but she seems smart. But the way she decides to appear on the show, she comes off just like younger than she is, or even as something she says like that, like oh girl, like oh no, watch out.
I just like if you're 21, don't do this.
Likely.
You got 20 years before you like really need to. If you're trying to even have a family, you got a lot of time to find somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like looking at like the ages of everybody in this right now. So you got like Chelsea 42, Dexter 58, and then the other two we know, Bray is 22, and Issa is like, how old is she?
21.
21.
We just talked.
Yeah, so it's all. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground there, and that's not great.
Like if you were 30 and you're like, oh, I want to have kids, and you want to meet somebody, like you got to meet somebody now. You could maybe use a service where they're coming out in a couple months to get to know them beforehand. I don't know. Maybe that's the right time to do it. Or maybe when you're 50 and you're like, I want some adventure in my life. Let's do it. Like, I don't know. But 21 and 22 are not the right times to do this.
Yeah. They didn't talk about it, but it's unclear how Issa got connected with Chelsea to go in this route.
Issa said that she did some sort of school project.
Oh, right.
And like found out about these like the pen pals, and then the pen pal thing I think pointed her to Chelsea.
Yeah, you're right.
Or maybe she just wrote into Discovery and was like, "Hey, I want to be on a reality show," and they were like, "Oh, we're doing this thing." And, you just got to pretend like you're dating somebody in prison.
That's actually
you
probably,
can attempt to date somebody in prison.
That seems more accurate. Like I filled out several of these like casting call sheets now, and they very much in the casting call like it's like 50, 70 questions. It's a lot.
Do not go on. What ones did you fill out?
Yeah. So there was one I found recently. It was looking for people, a newly engaged couple. And yeah. And they were like, first fill out. So I filled out a couple pages, right? Then they're like, oh, now tell us about family members that don't approve of your engagement or like what you're doing. And it wasn't like, do you have family members? It's tell us which ones, right? And so clearly, like the show has an angle on who they're trying to pull in.
And at that point, you start texting family members, yo, You want to be on this reality TV show?
Right. It's like I just put people, and it's like if it happens, it's like, hey, you're gonna have to make something up.
Did you just put all of us? Like, we'll pretend to be your cousin. Yeah, I'm Jewish.
We don't approve of that interreligion marriage.
Yeah, we are Hasidic. I can't believe he's not wearing his yarmulke right now.
Yeah, I get that feedback a lot.
Yeah. So Issa, is there anything else to say about Issa before we move on?
She seems very sweet. It's like Devin's mom. It's like, what are you doing here? She definitely comes off. I mean, and Dre as well. Just like,
We'll talk about it.
yeah, you going down this path. It seems odd.
Yeah, some things I wrote down. The guy Devin has a tattoo of a heartless felon on his chest.
Yep.
Just like, I can't imagine the sweet girl with this fucking guy with the heartless felon tattooed on his chest.
I feel like getting that, like, you've just accepted something about yourself that, like, it's not going to change. It's permanent.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, or I mean, he seems like maybe be still a kid. It's like the mom said, yeah, he was first in jail at 14. So clearly he's been through some shit, right? And so if you're like a very impressionable teenager, maybe you get a tattoo at 15 like that. Like, I definitely would be open to some redemption, right? Like this person actually has an opportunity to really change.
So that's also something, like, I need to bring up. So long distance relationships are already pretty difficult. This is essentially a long-term relationship because you're not going to meet them and, like, you're just writing back and forth. Next, you're compounding it with, like, hey, like, this person has committed some crimes and I'm on the redemption arc, but when you have some people that have, like, had multiple, like, now you're putting yourself on the hook of, will they change? Am I willing to put in work to help them so that they can change? But even more likely is that these people feel like they can change them. And that's also such a red flag for this relationship. Like, I don't think I'd suggest, like, to the inmates, go date these people from the outside.
It definitely, I think, attracts the person that wants to change other people, that they feel like they can be the angel of their life and change them. But a lot of problems with people when they come out of prison are they go back to their old friends. And that's just a shit show. Like,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for failure. So, like, this is the best case scenario for that prisoner to get out of this cycle
100%.
of going to prison. So, like, by all means, try. I don't know. I can't say not to do it, but
Absolutely. That's one positive thing I have to say about Chelsea's service is that, like, she's helping, like, set people up for success. Whether, like, that's doable or not is another story. Because this is, like, going to be one big support thing for when they don't really have anything coming out of prison.
like you're setting yourself up for a hard time. Let's be clear.
The
Yes.
person on the outside.
The person on the outside.
Yeah. I mean, very likely. Like, I think the thing on if someone can change, to me, it really is dependent on the age they were. Like, people don't really mature. I mean, literally, your brain doesn't fully form, right, until early mid-20s or so, right? And so, like, that's why for this guy, like, he really got on a bad route in his early teens. So I'm like, okay, like, to me, much open. Someone who's, like, in their 40s, 50s, they have a rap sheet, like, I'm less likely to believe it unless there was some, like, traumatic inflection point.
Unless they've been in jail for 20 years and then, they're getting out.
But,
Yeah.
but then even if they committed a crime at 20, right? Like, there's something where, like, people all the time change. Even if you're 50 and you did something, you go to jail for 10 years, you're out at 60. No doubt someone can change in that time period.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of people in prison that could come out and they, like, come out to a much healthier lifestyle with, like, a responsible person and not back to their old friends that, like, are kind of stuck in a cycle. That they'll be a great person. They could change themselves easy that way.
Yeah.
It's just doing that is hard.
Oh,
Change is
super
hard. Not wanting to
Yeah.
go back to your best friend, even though your best friend is, like, a drug addict or, like, still steals stuff or still does things like that. It's like, well, if they think that way, then you got to cut them off. Like, there's just there's some logistics here that they have to want to remove those people from their life. And that would be the only sign I'd be looking for is, like, hey, are you willing to lose your old friends? And if you are, and if you ever see them again, it's over.
Yeah, it's got to be so difficult, right? Like you're trapped somewhere for some period of time, and like anyone, you want to go back. You want your community, so you're missing this community. Then you get out, you can see this community. Now you're free to, but there was these warning signs that like it could trap you. Like that's a really tough situation.
Not to mention all the new friends you made inside.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's really hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But then you like us on the outside choosing to be in this cycle of just being with all these people. Like you have to get rid of. It's just like I can't imagine choosing to do this.
Which to go in it.
Yeah.
That's a bold choice. I mean, it's not even bold. It's
Some would say stupid.
that's what they keep saying on the show.
Good thing we're gonna go watch this entire season and see what happens.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just like from a high level of watching the show, it's like watching the most idiotic people. But then just like I just laughed so hard at some of these people. They were like, they were like looking at somebody's profile and they're like, oh, she was in for grand theft, and like you literally seen people's rap sheet. And I just cracked up. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. I don't know if the people are stupid in the show. Chelsea, I don't know if I trust her judgment 100%, but Issa and Dre, they seem much more on the level, and it's like there's this like odd route they're going down, or like as we said, Issa, she just applied to be on the show and she got it. Now she's all in.
I think both Issa and Bray are like just a little too young to like get into something super complex like this.
Like I think that they're sucked into this thought that they need to find somebody now, and they don't have somebody now. And especially let's talk about Bray.
Yeah.
So Bray is 22. He's a photographer.
Yeah.
He's friends with Chelsea's son, Jacob. So that's the connection to Chelsea. And Chelsea seems to be peer pressuring Bray to be on her reality show.
Yep.
So he needs to go and try to date these women. And this is really manipulative of Chelsea. And spoiler alert, she's the worst. Just for this fact.
But to Brian's earlier point, like the fact she started this service, and I mean, I doubt it's that profitable. I think she does this more. Of course, she sees it's a need to help out some people. I have a hard time putting her in the worst category.
No,
we'll debate it. We'll debate it later. Debate it later. Let's talk about Bray quick. And Bray's pretty interesting because he's just starting. So we're just seeing this like, I can't believe I'm like, we do this classic reality show thing where they bring in two friends and then they break the news to the two friends. Like it wasn't a whole setup to begin with. It's just terrible. Marion was the friend and Jacob was there.
Jacob, yeah.
That's how we get introduced to Chelsea's son.
Marion was great.
Yeah, his reaction seemed genuine. Like, I don't know if I can really pull that, like, as a non-professional actor, pull that off, like, just not hearing it for the first time. Like, okay, like, I'm only going to be on this reality show.
I believe that the setups are, like, sometimes like this, where, like, the other people in the set, like, don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't seem to. Like, because even they introduced a lot of people who had, like, astonished reactions. Clearly, they're like, hey, they're on a TV show. It's about their dating life, probably. We're gonna have to tell you some stuff on it. Like, it's probably that type of setup.
It's true. Yeah.
And then
There's a couple times, but then they do the same thing again, which is baffling. We're doing it again, but they do it at the barber shop with his dad and the barber.
Yep.
The barber was clearly not in on it, but do you think the dad knew?
So, I think he does.
I think he does.
Because, spoiler, the dad gets roped into dating an inmate.
Oh my God.
Or attempting to get match made
Yeah.
with the inmates.
Like, my thought on this is they tried to get contestants for the show. Issa's the only one that passed the bar. And then they're like, hey, Chelsea, we can't make the show. We don't have enough people. And she's like, wait, I got these good family friends. Like, they'll be up for it. They're cool. And they're like, all right, Chelsea, we love you. We'll do it. And now it's just going along for the ride.
Oh, 100%. These are these are marks just for the show for sure.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting because I do think that Bray or Dexter, the dad, could actually end up in a relationship at the end of this when they didn't really come into this thing expecting that.
Yeah.
They're in this thing for the show. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I mean, unless you committed some pretty horrific crime, like, I'm definitely the belief, and especially just due to how we put people in jail, like, there's probably a good amount of people that are fairly normal, did something that was maybe mildly fucked up or mildly not.
or just
The
got
worst.
caught up with the
Yeah.
wrong set of people. Like,
And it's
100%.
like, right? So it's like, there's a part of me there that's like, I really like what they're trying to do, and unfortunately, like, it's really hard to differentiate between like an inmate. It's just like an inmate's an inmate, right? And it's really hard to be like that spectrum on the outside.
No, I just think that, as I've said, you're inviting yourself in for a hard time.
Yeah,
This person's going to have a hard time getting a job, depending on if they were a felon or not, if they were in for a misdemeanor or whatever. Like, there's some different things there that you got to take into account and, like, what happened. But, like, 100%, a lot of these people are normal people, and they should never have gone to jail to begin with.
yeah,
A lot of them.
that's my thought as well.
But, you know, they're in there, and now we get to find out who they are.
Yeah.
So Bray gets to see some of these profiles. So do we. We get to see somebody named Cynthia.
Yep.
She is 30. She's in for some sort of drug charge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way, if I was a matchmaker, I would never match a 22-year-old with a 30-year-old in fucking prison.
Yeah, especially when it's like the younger guy. Like, if you flip the man and the woman thing, because like women are much more mature than men generally.
Oh,
like,
no, you can't. That's just
no, I'm not saying I would start off there anyway, right? Because I agree, 30 and 22 is a bit of a gap when it's like totally blind. But like, it just compounds it when you have a guy that's going to have the maturity of an 18-year-old and a woman's going to have the maturity of a 35-year-old, because that's just how things shake out.
I love your math there. I love it.
Yeah, you know. It's,
I love it.
Yeah.
This is just like, you know, somebody that could be very manipulative. I think in prison, like, you know, they went to prison for, it could be something very manipulative. Introducing them to somebody very vulnerable, like Issa or Bray, is very dodgy.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
There's just like no way. And then we get to see another profile for Arlette. She's 22. She was in for grand theft.
And a little bit of aggravated battery.
Just
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
I can't only imagine how long you go to jail for grand theft. This wasn't Grand Theft Auto. This was just grand theft.
Which we saw is, again, it
It's
sounds terrible.
Only $500.
$500.
Steal an Xbox, and that's it.
That is nuts. That really is nuts.
Yeah.
Xbox isn't $500.
Oh, is that why they priced it at $499.99?
Yeah. See, you don't go to jail for grand theft.
I wonder if that includes tax or not.
But
Anyway.
we talked about the grand theft. Like, you probably don't go to jail for stealing something $500. Like, it's probably something more like the hard definition for if you've got multiple offenses. You know, it's 500.
Yeah.
But like, could be like 10 grand.
That would, yeah.
That a lot of that stuff is like about making money in the prison system anyway. So like they could do whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the only two profiles we got to see.
Yeah. But then Dexter was like leaning more into it. He's like, all right, I see what this is about. And
Yeah.
then Chelsea's like, why don't you give it a go?
And then we get another scene of Dexter telling his friend,
Oh my God.
Charmaine,
I cannot believe that like he just got into that.
obviously he's trying to be on the show, Brian. If he doesn't get good content, he's not on the show. He doesn't get paid.
Did you see that barbershop scene? That was gonna be good content.
It was. This Charmaine was like, "This isn't a bad idea. Don't do this. You get
Thank
taken
you.
advantage of too much. Can only imagine what happens with these women in prison."
Pretty much like nobody really had like a positive reaction to this. Everybody had like a lot of concern.
Not Jacob.
Well,
Jacob had a positive reaction.
Of course he is, because he's part of this matchmaking pyramid scheme.
And puts food on his table. That's good. Yeah. That's kind of the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just like a lot of good reactions. Like, I think Dexter, Bree's dad.
Oh, Dexter's great.
Yeah, he's a star of the show. But then once he gets roped in, he tells his friend.
Yeah, we talked. You just said that. Where were you?
Yeah. I was looking up the definition of grand theft. I was really because I googled it again because I'm like, this can't be right at $500. And then I googled again, and it's like, oh, it's 5,000. But I click in, that's in Canada. It's 5,000. And so then I got more definition that grand theft actually has different degrees. So third degree grand theft is like 500. I think it was like to 10,000. Second degree 10,000 to 50. First degree 50,000 plus. Like, this is what I was doing when you were talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
if you have anything to say about that scene,
No,
feel
I
free.
don't. I apologize for being too tucked in the corner.
No, but that's good to know. We didn't know what level of Grand Theft these people are at.
Yeah,
Because like Grand Theft Auto would be like a first degree, right?
depends on the value. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess most might even be third. Like if you stole a clunker, that's like under 10 grand.
totally. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. It seems like it's like the main dimension the crime is judged is on the appraised value of the asset, but then there are other measures they can bring in to size up the crime.
Yeah, obviously. So I mean, the whole goal is to give you the most amount of things, and then you just plead down to something that seems more reasonable.
Totally right. Yeah.
So like they'll charge you with Grand Theft Auto at third degree or at first degree or whatever, plus like, assault, battery, whatever, any of those things.
Breaking
And then you'll eventually just get Grand Theft Auto third degree and you
Probably,
go to
yeah.
jail for like a year.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was deep in the corner.
All right, should we get to questions?
Yeah.
I got some minutia, so we'll get into some of our minutia questions. So let's debate this. Who's the worst human being?
So
My vote is for Chelsea. Just because of bringing in these 21 and 22-year-olds, and like she sets them on the right path.
Yep.
But I think overall, matchmaking a 21 to 22-year-old with somebody in prison is a bad idea. Like,
Yep.
if somebody's in prison and getting out at like 22 to 25 and they come out and they rehabilitate themselves, great. By all means, date them, marry them, whatever. But like to bring people that age group into this whole flow, I don't know. I think that's a bad thing to do.
So I do agree about Chelsea, but I also want to throw Jacob's hat in the ring because I wrote down like during that chat with Bree, this dude needs to fuck off. Like he's just like encouraging this, and like it's clearly just so that he can make money. Like you don't have your friends.
It's true.
You don't have your friend's best interest in mind in that case. Like you're just like, yeah, let's get him in.
But I think behind the scenes, Jacob knows about the show, and he was part of roping him into the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, he agreed to be on the show already.
You think Bray did?
Yeah. Like, Jacob can't come on the show and be like, dude, you shouldn't do this, and then get off the show immediately. He's like, Jacob needs him to be on the show, but he also agreed to be on the show.
He could just be like other people and be like, hey, like I think it's good like you're branching out, but maybe like let's like dial it back and like make sure that this is the right thing for you.
That's fair. I think his reaction was very like he's not a very good actor to be like or like clearly that good of a friend to be like, hey, be on the show, but hold your heart. Don't do it on the show.
Yeah. I was thinking of Jacob as well. And then Chelsea, I think there's a lot of conflicting things, right? If you have a 21-year-old in jail, logically it makes sense to try to match him up with a 21-year-old. The one twist, which I'm surprised we haven't thought about, and I just thought about it right now, is why not match up people in jail? So you have a 21-year-old woman in jail, 21-year-old man in jail.
They're like a power jail couple.
Yeah, it's one way of putting it, right? But like, because your point, yeah, you could be super vulnerable, right? Where it's like it evens the playing field a little bit.
I don't know, who knows? The thing is, Noah, that's not a business because those people don't got any money.
Yeah, but I just wonder how. I mean, the conjugal lingerie is only $18. Like,
Fuck.
She's not making much money on this thing, I promise you.
no, it didn't seem like it. But the worst human. If the story is true, Manuel, what are you doing, man? Why are you ghosting Chelsea? What's going on?
He's definitely in the running. I agree with you. Manuel is a dick. Unclear if he's really ghosting her on the show
Right.
or not.
Right. That's why I was like, if it's true, who knows? Who knows what's going on?
But he seems like a pretty womanizer. We saw the texts. He's pretty manipulative, and I could definitely see Chelsea like, ooh, he's showing me interest. He really likes me. Blah blah blah. Like, but in his mind, he's like not. Like he could totally be that kind of person, which would make him a dick overall. But it's not like Chelsea's put a whole lot of time into this thing.
Yeah,
But she is putting her emotions out there.
100%.
So, Brian, what do you think? You break the tie here.
I'm going with Chelsea.
All right. Chelsea it is. Sucks to suck. Get your own show, but you're the worst.
Apex.
Obviously, this is the apex of the hosts for Chelsea.
Yep.
100%.
This is getting that business going. Like so when you brought up the site, I tried to Google it because I didn't catch the exact thing.
Yeah, I couldn't find it either.
And of course, like I see a TikTok, which I'm pretty sure is associated. I'm like, shit, this is going somewhere.
I
You
mean,
couldn't find it?
I didn't really look that hard.
No, like
Prison Love and Friendship.com.
I just like did in like 5 seconds, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm done.
I found a loveaprisoner.com.
Yeah, there are a lot of hot takes on like mixing up these words and everything.
So yeah, we'll have the site in the description, so you don't have to remember it like we do. All right, what's your baffling or cringeworthy moment, Brian? You have one?
Let's see. I think that my most baffling thing was that like Chelsea said that conjugal visits you have to be married.
Yeah, I saw that. I wrote that down too. That's nuts. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Okay, so then why does she have like a lingerie shop? And who is she selling this to? Like, is this like, okay, yeah, like everything's.
Well, she's just selling it. Like
Wait, married people can't wear lingerie?
But like, if you're already married, like you probably have something, and if you don't have something, you're probably gonna spend more than $18 on it.
I mean, I
Like-
don't know, man.
How much your man's worth to you?
I mean, the lingerie looked fine. I'm definitely not an expert in lingerie, but reasonable to me.
no, you should call this number.
I know.
Should we call this number live on air?
I know. There's
Please,
I
God,
mean,
no.
but she's in Florida. It's late.
Oh man, there's this is an available pen pals. Like you could read their profiles right now.
Yeah, I know. It's a whole thing.
Hi, my name is Kenny. I'm writing this bio in hopes of finding connection with a lovely lady out there who is looking for the same. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about myself. 37 years old, fun-loving Native American with lots of love to give. I'm 5'11", black brown hair, hazel eyes, with a light skin tone. I came from the blah 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 in the Northwest. I've been incarcerated. Just this is nuts. All right, well, there you go. If you want some pen pals, that's where you go. I've got one. There's a conversation with Jonathan, one of Chelsea's friends, about like what she's done with Manuel, and she was like, "Well, Manuel was like." Jonathan was like, well, you can't send dirty pics back and forth. You got to know what you're working with. You got because he was gay. He needs to know.
That's the energy we need. Like, at the very least, like, okay, have fun with it.
Oh yeah,
He still had the concern, but he's like, yeah, have fun.
She also says that what they can do is write dirty letters, have some nasty phone calls. So, that's what you're looking forward to if you join this dating site.
Hell yeah.
Get to be a better author. You get to write some smut. Maybe that'll lead to your romance book career.
I can't compete with Nora Roberts. Like, I can't be churning out book after book in a year. Like, she's got like 500 some.
Daniel Steele, the classics. Noah, do you have a baffling?
Man, I mean, the show's topic is just kind of baffling to start out with. No, I can't say anything baffling.
Okay. Let's do some drinking rules. I don't know if I have one off the top of my head. Brian, you have one?
Every time somebody's rap sheet comes on, take a drink.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think anytime there's like a FaceTime call, take a drink, or like any call. It doesn't have to be FaceTime. Noah, you got one?
Yeah. I don't know the technical terms here, but they go from like in prison to incarcerated, in jail, but specifically the term incarcerated. Take a drink.
Yeah. Anytime somebody gives you that like you crazy look, take a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to happen throughout this season too, because like this one was going to be loaded with a lot of those reactions, but there's going to be some introductions later.
Well, they said 5 men and women.
Yeah.
So I think we're missing 2 people, right?
We're only missing one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only one person in like this season on that I didn't recognize.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
They had this season on.
Oh,
I was like,
yes.
who the hell is that? Like this whole couple is just like it was predominantly that couple, and I was
Yeah.
like, what about the people we just saw?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand what this season on's meant to be?
This is Discovery's learning. Okay, like they already made a faux pas with like the beginning season on and the end season on, so like they're gonna learn at some point.
Man,
Yeah.
I really hate when they do the season on right away.
Oh
This
my
season
God.
on.
Well, they had to suck us in some way.
Yeah. We got sucked.
All right, would this show be better as a Quibi or Roku original?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a catchy thing to be like, what? And I think at 5 minutes you're fine, and you move on.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like a 20-minute version of the show being a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
Like 40 minutes is too long.
Yeah.
It's just too long. I just don't care. Like, at some point, you got to make me care. They didn't make me care.
Yep. I love the reactions. Everything else is just so boring.
Yeah, I think an 8-minute like chunk of this would be great. Just like you get like one person and a couple dates, and then it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do that a lot quicker. But yeah, you definitely focus on either side of it, right? Probably the people that are outside, and then you get to know the prisoners a little bit. Like, I think that's one thing that the first episode we didn't get as much.
Oh, I
to
love it.
To humanize the prisoners more.
I think that's probably why we're so disparaging about this whole thing. Is we never got really what the prisoners inside and what their like whole life is about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a missed thing because I think the show could do a lot of positive, but it was definitely more of like a shock factor type of sales pitch.
Yeah,
Yep.
like they should have done like an hour interview with like these people and shown us like the 5-minute highlights or something.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Like instead we get these like brief glimpses through the eyes of the other person and not really like them telling their life or like what they're going to do afterwards or like how they're going to change. Like all we needed was like a 2-minute clip of them being like, yeah, I got stuck with this shitty place, like this bad friend, and you know, when I get out, I'm never talking to that person again, or like this is going to be great for me. Like that's all I needed to like root for these relationships.
Yeah,
Like I'm not rooting for anything.
totally. Like they basically are putting these people at like the worst moment of their life and highlighting that, and it's like they could definitely balance it out better.
Yeah. Let's see. Next question we have. What's the production schedule on this thing look like?
Yeah,
This is a rough one.
yeah, this one's tough. Like it, you know, they mentioned at the beginning of the show, like I've been waiting 4 years for this. Like, so I was like, oh man, they taped this over 4 years. But clearly that's not the case. My guess, somehow they packed us into a month. Just
You think so?
just based on, I gotta guess what kind of budget they have.
I would say I think this is going along the 90-Day Fiance route. I think this is 3 months because like we're getting like the condensed version of like, okay, intros and like we've been dating this like for a little bit. Then the rest of the season is going to be them hanging out.
Man, it's just so like, so with these people just starting to date, like I guess you could go unlimited amount of time. Like as long as they're still willing to be on the show and date,
Yeah.
good to go. But like, if maybe an original was going to be 4 months, with the guy getting out being the end of the show, right? Because
Yeah.
like he was going to get out in 4 months.
Yeah, they didn't specify that with all the inmates of like when they're going to get out. I think if they did that, it could be much clearer. And that's also one weird thing about the show, where generally the reality shows, there is some like very clear timeline that will proceed.
The time
You
was
go ahead.
moving. We have no idea how much time was moving.
No idea.
So like this question's impossible for us to answer.
Yeah, not possible.
Do you think this was a COVID production, post COVID? Like, was it like this summer or was it pre-summer?
I mean, most of this was filmed in Florida, so we're never going to be able to tell.
The only
Yeah,
thing that
that's true.
indicates to me that it wasn't like, I mean, big lockdown was like in the barber shop
Right.
because they were inside, no masks.
Yeah.
Yep.
My guess, they probably taped this like in the spring of this year.
Probably.
Late spring. They probably flipped this thing super quick.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Should we do our favorite question? We do our ranking system. We do a stack ranking. We got top, middle, bottom third compared to other reality shows. Some people may stack rank and their stack ranks. Brian, what'd you got?
Top of the bottom. If it wasn't for like all this like garbage filler, I would have maybe put it higher to like actually learn like, hey, like what was it like in there? Like, how are you going to grow as a person? Like, that seems like an awesome story.
No, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I'm putting this as a solid middle. I really like that they in line with a lot of these Lifetime Discovery Channel reality shows, like people that are extremely overweight, short, tall, skinny, whatever thing. They try to bring these to light. I think they have an opportunity to make it less tabloidy and just like shock factor. So I'm excited about that. The execution on this, a little bit rough, a little long in the tooth. We spoke about opportunities to bring some of the prisoners better to life, to empathize with them. So solid middle.
All right. This is a bottom third show, but I laughed a lot. So it's going in the middle.
Oh,
Solid middle show. I think that, the premise it has promise, but you need to humanize the other half of these relationships or
yeah.
it's just boring and I don't really root for these relationships at that point.
No, yeah.
I think that would make it a real solid middle. But anytime I see a rap sheet and I'm laughing and there's the scenarios these people are getting into, I don't know. I don't know why, but it's going in the middle. And that's it
There we go.
for our discussion.
Prisoners of Love.
Prisoners of Love. Brian, shout out this week.
Yeah. So I got to check out this show called Getaway Driver that's also on Discovery Plus. And this is some hot garbage.
Ooh.
So you got Michelle Rodriguez from the Fast and Furious series. It's like, yeah, I'm going to find like these top drivers, set up a course, put a couple people in there to stop the driver. As a contestant on the show, you have to find the exit. In the first round, there's like 2 exits. And then the second one is at night, and you only get 1 exit. But people are bringing their own cars onto this, all for like $2,000 for like if you win the first round, $5,000 for the second round. That does not pay off in the slightest when like your car is going to get rammed and destroyed.
Wait, so how many people are in this thing?
There are 3 people this episode.
So there's 3 people in a course, and it's like a destruction derby?
Yeah, so like you're riding along, you're like trying to find the exit, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, enforcer! And then you got to like start making some moves, and the enforcers try not to like ram your car, but like they're also gonna like pull in and just like sandwich you. They're gonna like
They're called the Enforcer.
yeah, like they're
What
going
is
to
this? Pac-Man?
basically, but like it's also off-road Pac-Man, where like even like on the like you can drive through this like empty parking lot. You can take a jump. Like they put a jump in this course.
How is this just not a quarter mile at a time? Like, what is this?
Well, I mean, Getaway Driver, you got to be able to react to the situation. So like when the police
this isn't OG the Fast and the Furious. This is
right.
okay.
This is more like Baby Driver.
This is like Elba versus Block, but Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, $2,000's not gonna go a lot for your car. Hopefully, you're bringing a clunker.
Oh no! The one person brought like a $62,000 car,
Mm.
and then another person like brought a clunker and like did okay, but they just got knocked out with their thing.
Really, you just need a clunker with a good engine. But
Yeah.
who has that? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Mm.
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if I had like a lot of spare cars and was like, I'll just do this for fun, great. Like, but otherwise, I'm not bringing anything reasonably pricey onto this thing because
Well, you don't know what you're getting into.
Right.
This is season 1 of that show. Season 2, then when you can talk about what you could or would not bring.
I guess I don't know like what is explained to these people where it's like, hey, you're going to be a getaway driver. Bring your car.
That definitely seems what's going to happen, Brian.
Oh wait, it's going to get smashed.
Yeah, like what's the chance that somebody just like crashes the shit out of their car?
Man, there was also like one. So like the enforcer smashed this person's car into like the side of it, but the enforcer's car got completely busted.
Ooh.
And the driver didn't know that, and they were like, "Oh man, if you had just like backed out of it and not worried about your car at all, you could have gotten away." And it's like, what? Who cares? Just my car just got smashed. I got in an accident. What?
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible show. There's a point that like there's a lot of new reality shows on right now. It's
Yep,
really
lots.
who put this on this season.
It is.
Like,
Yeah.
we can do new shows for like the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason
Easy.
not to.
Easy.
Any other shout outs?
No.
Noah, you got a shout out this week?
I do. How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. It's a Netflix show. It is very bingeable. Like, it's just such an enjoyable show. It's based on true events. So they came out with season 3. I'm pretty sure it's the last season. They came out with a documentary to go behind the real story of it. And wow, did they take some creative liberties with the show. But the show is still extremely enjoyable.
Obviously, they're gonna do that.
Yeah, like the little spoiler. So there is a true story. There's a kid in Germany who set up a website to sell drugs online. Like,
As you do.
truth. That is about the only truth of that the show was based on. They created this whole universe of like bad people, friends, associates, etc. Again, super enjoyable. Highly recommend. But wow.
All right. Well, my shout out this week is another very bingeable show, Search Party. I watched all 4 seasons of Search Party. It's very good. It goes in weird directions. It kind of ends up being like almost similar to It's Always Sunny, where like these people are bad people.
What
Get
channel?
into-
What
It's
what
on HBO Max.
service? Yeah.
But it like each season like has a very wildly different tone and changes directions of what's going on. And there's going to be season 5 or 6 has been ordered, so it's not over. And I'd recommend it. It's very bingeable if you're looking for something. 20 minutes. Episodes are only 20 minutes long,
Nice.
so they're nice and tight.
So it's not a new show.
It's not 4 seasons.
So is it every year they've been pumping out a season?
It used to be on FX or something.
Okay.
I don't know what channel it used to be
Yeah.
on.
Also,
But the last season was on HBO, so it's longer than 20 minutes.
makes sense. Also, what are we supposed to say now? What channel is that on? What service is that on? Which
Service. No one
What
watches
service?
fucking channels, dude.
I know, but it's like I've
Look,
never.
if you told me a show is on TNT and you can only watch it on TNT, I'm like, fuck off. Ain't watching that.
what
like, who-
service is it on?
Like, the fact that FX is on Hulu now, like, that's great. I can watch FX shows now.
Yeah,
Like, if it's not on Hulu, I'm not watching it.
it just doesn't roll off the tongue as much. Like, and it's just a change. But like, what service is that on? It's like,
Yeah, there's only 5 services now.
Thank
Is it
goodness
only
you can watch
5?
TLC stuff on Discovery Plus.
yeah, I get Disney, Discovery, Hulu.
Thanks, Brian,
Netflix,
for
HBO.
Discovery Plus.
No, there's 6.
I just made a number up. I have a lot.
Just-
I didn't know the number. I don't know the service off the top of my head.
well, I was thinking like Discovery, Disney, Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Paramount,
You forgot Peacock.
Peacock 7.
Did you forget Amazon? Did you say Amazon?
Oh no, 8.
Yeah. I got a whole
This can
folder
go on
here.
forever.
I got a whole folder here: Disney, HBO, Netflix, Peacock. I've got Twitch, Vudu, Prime Video, Hulu, and Paramount Plus.
Apple.
and YouTube.
Apple.
And Apple.
That's
I don't-
not. Yeah, Voodoo. I'm not counting.
Oh. I was just reading off my folder.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good amount now. Man, gotta.
Yeah,
gotta
I
pay
mean
the
they
piper.
all kind of have one now.
Yeah.
Like
know.
I feel like TNT and TBS, they don't have a streaming thing, right?
They don't. They're owned by Viacom, I believe, right? So maybe it rolls up into Paramount Plus.
But Paramount Plus doesn't have like new shows on it. Like it has new shows, but it doesn't do like the Hulu thing.
Oh, I thought they create some original content.
No, they do.
Oh.
But they don't do like it's currently on CBS
Oh yeah.
and they pop it on their Paramount Plus. Like they don't do that.
Oh, actually, I take it back. No, TBS and TNT, they're owned by AT&T, which is owned by HBO, which is.
Yeah, there's a reality show that just popped on that was on TNT. But it was like wait till the whole season was over.
Yeah, so it all rolls up into Granddaddy AT&T, otherwise known as HBO Max.
You mean Discovery Media? Soon to be Discovery Media, yeah.
Oh wait, AT&T's buying Discovery?
No, they're sold off. They're all their media stuff, and it's joining with Discovery.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Big win.
Warner Media?
it'll be the high level thing is like Discovery Media or something. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know the whole thing, but do we know if this show's on something other than Discovery Plus? Is it a Discovery Plus exclusive? Maybe we should know that before we sign off.
Who knows? We're not gonna find that quick.
No.
Oh, we can chit chat,
Chit chat.
chit chat.
The Discovery the Discovery Plus website.
It's under the Discovery Plus Originals section.
Okay. All right, there you have it. It's on Discovery Plus.
DPP.
All right, well, that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at @hoopthesong. You can find us on Facebook.com/hoopthesong. You can email us questions and suggestions at hoopthesong@gmail.com. See you guys next time.
You think that nobody's drinking in a park? Are you kidding me?